Good Thursday morning, everyone. Glad to see you tune back in. This week, we have been talking about God's blessing on America. And up to this point, the first 3 days, we talked about how from the very beginning, our founders and those who have followed right up to this age, this day, were often, well, the founders were basically Christians. And the country was founded on Christian principles. We're going to turn the corner today because we have been enjoying God's blessing all these years. We want it to continue, do we not? And we want God's hand to be on America. But these are hard times. And we go back to this passage in 2 Chronicles chapter 7. And I started to give the background of it yesterday. Solomon had just finished the temple. They were opening the temple, and it was good times. God's blessing was on Israel, as it has been on this country. And then in a dream, God warns Israel. And I want to read this morning because see if you recognize anything that might pertain to America. I think it's pretty similar, but you make your own decision. God appears to Solomon in a dream, and he sends, part of the dream is this warning at chapter 7, verse 19. But if you or your descendants, things are good, but if you or your descendants abandon me and disobey the decrees and commands I have given you, and if you serve and worship other gods, then I will uproot the people from this land that I have given them. I will reject this temple that I have made holy to honor my name, and I will make it an object of mockery and ridicule among the nations. And though this temple is impressive now, all who pass by it will be appalled, and they will ask, why did the Lord do such terrible things to this land and to this temple? Verse 22, and the answer will be, because his people abandoned the Lord, the God of their ancestors who brought them out of Egypt, and they worshiped other gods instead and bowed down to them, and that is why he has brought all these disasters upon them. Friends, we don't want that, do we? We have ancestors in this country. We have ancestors in this country who basically set the stage and followed the Lord and applied his Bible to our lives and the way that our country ran. We honored him in our schools and in our lives. Do you think that it's possible that we have abandoned God, as God warned the Israelites not to do? And if they abandon God, then he would uproot them, cause disaster to them and their land and to their temple. We don't want that for our land, do we? We don't want God's blessing to be taken from us. We don't want to be uprooted. We don't want this land to fall apart. And so I take it as a warning as much to us as it was to Israel. But in that same dream, God gave Israel the answer. And that's what I want us to look at and to make sure. And you know what? Who God addresses it to? His people. His people. And who are his people today? It's you and I. It's those of us who name his name, and we call ourselves what? Christians. Christ followers. Those who want to live their life in honor of Jesus. And so in verse 14, he gives us 4 things that you and I can do to make sure this kind of calamity does not befall our country. And we sure see the signs of it happening right now, don't we? And we can turn it around. Here's the thing. Let me just read it. Verse 14. If my people, God says, who are called by my name, and that's us, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sins and restore their land. Our good days in America do not need to be over. This land can have great revival, and God will restore it. Restore the good times of just celebrating and praising Him. You know, I think the roots are definitely absolutely there. Look at how people love Thanksgiving, and the minor part we would need to do is make sure that the Thanksgiving is given to the Lord our God and not just a generalization. And still, there's no great revolt right now to in God we trust on our money. There's no great revolt under God in the Pledge of Allegiance. When our leaders saying, may God bless America, that is accepted. I believe that it's still there, but these are the four things God says. You want to keep His hand of blessing upon this country. Did you see what the things that we need to do? And that first one says, humble yourselves. Humble yourselves. What does that mean? Well, mankind, as well as even the angels, the sin of pride has always been the hardest to both identify and to deal with. And we see it all over the place. Pride. We have two parties that say they have all the answers to our problems. You vote for us and everything will just be peachy, be rosy. And they all say that, don't they? When's the last time that a candidate ever said something like, Lord, I need the Lord's blessing. I need the Lord's wisdom. I want the Lord to lead me. No one says anything like that. You know why? Because we think mankind thinks they have all the answers. And we do not, do we? Well, we as individuals, we better learn. Humbleness can start with us. That I don't have all the answers, and I want to make sure, Lord, I do what you want me to do. That the wisdom would be to pray and ask God for His guidance and leading and providence in our lives. And then He says to humble ourselves and pray. Pray to the God of the Bible, of course. And that's one of the real problems in our country right now. Maybe the problem. People worshiping false gods. False gods are any other God than the God of the Bible. And how many times have you heard, well, all paths are the same? All gods are the same. No, they are not. No, they are not. Only one has risen from the dead and defeated death. You know which one? Our God. Our God did that. No other God did it. So when it says to pray, it's to pray to the I am, Jehovah God, the God of the Bible. That's important. Humble ourselves and pray. Hey, we're going to finish up tomorrow. I sure hope you'll join us. It's going to be a grand finale day tomorrow. See you then.
Oh, come to the Father through Jesus the Son and give Him